Does it mean anything like to either of these quarterbacks, Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes, like their legacy if they lose? Because I hear some people like, oh, well, like if Patrick Mahomes loses to Joe Burrow again, then it's like, well, he's not. I'm just like, to me, it doesn't mean anything because if you look at what Mahomes has already done, I mean, like that's crazy. I mean, you're 27 years old, you already have an MVP, you have a Super Bowl. It's like you're in your fifth AFC Championship game in a row. So in my mind, whoever loses this game, I don't really think like it's an indictment on like their legacy. And plus, Joe Burrow, if he does lose, I mean, this is only what his third season playing. So I mean, you'll have plenty of time. So to me, really, there's not like that much on the line in this game, but I think it is a heavy hitting game for sure.
I feel like this might be a very unpopular opinion. I feel like Joe Burrow has more to lose if he doesn't like go back to the Super Bowl with this one. And the only reason I say that though too is because I think this is the second year in a row where even coming into the season, nobody expected them to be here. And so like it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, they're there, like take advantage of the moment kind of thing. Where like Patrick Mahomes, we kind of expect him to be at least in the AFC Championship game every year. And I don't think that it really like hurts him even if he loses this game. Because again, we're literally just talking about one game away into the Super Bowl. And these guys are both in their mid to late 20s. So like I don't really like I feel like it's so early to talk about legacy impact right now. It's so early to talk about that. But I do feel like as far as like who should take advantage of the moment more, I feel like it's gotta be Burrow. But I don't think it impacts his legacy any more or less if he doesn't win this game. Like,
well, it's one of those things too, where even when Josh Allen lost last week, everybody's like, "Oh, see, like he's not," and I'm just like, "Okay, guys, like it's just one of those things where I mean, we saw in the AFC for damn near 20 years, it was Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, big. I mean, these guys were all like beating up on each other. Now I know Brady has the 6 championships, but still, I mean, like these guys were beating the hell out of each other for the better part of 20 years, and I think we're really just now starting to see that with Burrow, Allen, and Mahomes. So that's what I'm saying. It's super early, so I don't really have, like I said, much to say about that on those ends, like who
like
wins
a
and who
legacy
loses.
impact.
Yeah, it's so
and you
early.
just said it. We talked about this last time though too. Is like seeing these guys play for like 20 years.
Yeah,
20 years. I mean, if we're talking about guys that are like 27, and I think Burrow's like what 25.
Well, Mahomes, he's the oldest. He was the oldest AFC quarterback, wasn't he? Yeah. I remember Amelia. You told me,
that's crazy.
27 and 24, 25. It's like, okay, these guys are easily going to be in the league for the next 15 or 20 years. Period.
Exactly.
Like I ain't talking about legacy right now. Like it's too early to be saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the guys hasn't even got a contract yet outside of the rookie deal. So
exactly.
Like,
and that was the other thing too. Yeah, go ahead, Amelia.
Oh, I was going to say that was one of my points that I was going to say. Miles had said that he thinks that Burrow has more to lose or like more to gain from getting to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl. Because I agree. Because one, Patrick Mahomes already has a Super Bowl. He already has a Super Bowl MVP. But you know, some of the talk earlier in this week was the general manager of the Bills, Brandon Beane, was saying how, you know, we're paying Stephon Diggs this much money. We're paying Josh Allen this much money while the Bengals aren't paying Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So like their window, as long as those two guys are around, when the window is going to be open. But right now it's the max, you know, the best chance while Burrow's still making money on his rookie contract. You can pay all these other guys to give him that support. So he definitely has more to gain. But like you said, I don't think it'd be fair to criticize his legacy over this because what are we going to say about Justin Herbert? What are we going to say about Josh Allen? What are we going to say about these other guys who have been
Lamar
in the
Jackson?
Lamar Jackson, just as long, if not longer, and haven't had as much success. I mean, Joe Burrow, he has more playoff wins than my Minnesota Vikings do in the last 15 years, probably. And it's only been 2 years for him. So, you know, we get to this point where, you know, the more you give, the more they expect. So I don't think anyone has anything to lose.
Yeah, because like you said, Amelia, the AFC is going to be a dogfight. And I think outside of just Allen, Mahomes, and Joe Burrow, like you're going to have, you know, one or two other guys every here and there who they're going to have like a moment where they do get one of those guys and knock them off, depending on, you know, where Lamar Jackson is up next season. I mean, they're going to have, it's not going to just be 20 straight years of like these three, 15, 20 years like of these three only. I think somebody else is going to have, because even for as bad as Russell Wilson was this year, like I don't see that happening again next year. I'm sorry. I don't see that being a thing. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be in the Super Bowl or anything. I'm not saying that, but I can see them being in the mix. You know, I don't see them being as terrible as they were this year.
Kenny Pickett finished his rookie year strong. First overall pick will probably be an AFC. Colts will probably draft someone too.
Yeah.
Colts and Texans.
Well, and that was the other point I was gonna, and I feel like Emilio brought that up. That conference is gonna be changing, so it's like, I feel like Burrow is in a way more competitive conference or division, I guess, with Pittsburgh, with Baltimore, with Cleveland. Like you can't expect them to be playing like that every single year, like where it's either injuries or whether they're just not like clicking or whatever. And so, that's where I've like talked about that window with Burrow. Like it's kind of more like it's open now compared to like in a year or two from now, but. Yeah, I mean, legacy, it's a little early, but you know, it's always we're talking about so many young guys in the same mix. You just never know what happens though either. So
yeah, but matchup wise in this game, who do you guys like?
You know, last week I was the only one who took Buffalo in that game. The reason I did was because the Cincinnati Bengals were down 3 offensive starters on the line, which we knew last year was their big issue. We know we theorized if they had a better guard, center, whatever it was, would Burrow have had more time to hit Chase on that last play of the Super Bowl? You know, we talked about that like all offseason, I felt like. So that was why I picked Buffalo. I'm not making that mistake again. I'm picking Cincinnati. I'm not doing any like spread or anything like that. No, I'm just straight up. I think Cincinnati is going to win.
Straight money line, baby.
Yeah, money line. We're going to get Emilio a segment called Money Line Millie.
You right?
Money line Millie, straight up with the picks. Yeah,
that'd be dope. That's actually pretty good one.
Everyone will be losing money, but
he's like, don't listen. He's like, don't listen to me.
You gotta put
bet $1 on this.
Like. Right? Yeah, I'll make you a whole background and everything for it. I'm going Cincinnati too with this one. I just think when you watch Joe Burrow, especially on that first drive last week playing Buffalo, I mean the way he was just picking that defense apart. I mean that was like
they picked up where they left off from the unfortunate DeMar Hamlin game.
Yeah, definitely did. Yeah, he was out there picking them apart. So, and like, yeah, basically, long story short, I'm going Cincinnati. I don't think we have to dive into it too much.
No, I was gonna say this is a sweep. I like Cincinnati, and the other factor we haven't really talked about is Mahomes' injury.
Yeah,
right,
that ankle. And so even though he's not in the walking boot or anything like that, it's the running, it's the cutting, it's the doing what you have to do outside of the pocket, and
it limits their play calling.
Exactly, and so we can sit there and say, okay, he can still throw the ball, but like. That's not the only like tool that really Mahomes has in his pocket. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be other things. And so I feel like those will be limited. Granted, I will say one thing about Kansas City that's different than this year and compared to years past. They have a run game this year. They really do. They have a really strong running game. But like when you're talking about Cincinnati, they can stop the run really, really well. And like I just feel like right now they just like you said they picked up where they left off at. So
yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. So yeah, I'm going with the Bengals 49ers Super Bowl. And like I said before, I'm gonna have to bring the tweet back up when it happens. But
yes, I know your tweet.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring it back up when we
pin it.
I do have to pin it when we get to the Super Bowl. You know what? When the 49ers and Chiefs played in the Super Bowl, I actually was 1 point off, I think, on the score.
Same.
Yeah,
Same,
I was like 1 point off. Yeah.
When like Darrell Williams got that touchdown at the end, like the garbage time touchdown, I was like, oh my God, I have a chance. And then
dude, yeah, I was like, maybe this year, we'll do the scores and everything for the Super Bowl, so it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to doing it with you guys. But to hop off this podcast, where can people find you guys on social media, Miles?
You can't find me.
Yeah, just Google it, man. I'm tired of asking for your damn social media handle every time we do this.
No,
Emilio Huncho on Instagram, and if you like European football, check out the Starting 11 podcast on Blaze Review too.
I was just about to plug that if you weren't going to, so I'm so glad you did. So glad you did. I enjoy you guys on there, man. I love how when you send me the description of every episode, it's always like the lads.
I know. Like
you play
I
on
was
that,
texting the boys, and I was like, "You lot want to watch some football this weekend? Get some the pint." You know,
dude, I love you guys on there, man. I have to listen to this week's episode still, but you guys are a lot of fun with that. And you guys do a good job with it, so I appreciate that. Every week, you guys are really good with it. So
we appreciate you, bro. You put us together and make this happen.
Man,
I like having fun and bantering. I didn't get to say it. I'm just going to say it before we hop off. I didn't miss a pick last week. I just want to say that.
Here we go.
I had to say it.
Oh, my God.
I did. I liked how everybody's picks were different, though. All of our picks were different. They were all.
I almost went Dallas just to be different, but I was like, I don't actually believe it though, so it's like I couldn't.
You can't,
See, I actually believed New York. I actually believed Jacksonville.
I know. I was sitting there. I was like, "Do you really want to have?"
Bro, I think my Vikings defense was just so bad that they made New York look like the greatest show on turf.
Yeah.
Were you surprised by that game, by the way, with Philadelphia, New York, Emilio? Because I mean, I know you watched the first game, so that's why I'm curious.
I was surprised in the sense that I thought like New York might be able to get a little bit more offense in against you guys, but I thought Philly was going to win. I mean, like the 2 regular season games were pretty bad. So,
Yeah. I didn't think they were going to do it like that. I was nervous. I actually told Canley I was nervous. I was like, I don't think – because it's like, again, you play them 2 times now. You think they'd be able to figure it out at some degree.
And I think the Vikings defense was just that bad. Like obviously I'm a fan, so I was probably a little drinking that purple Kool-Aid, didn't actually realize how bad it was.
We all do it every now and again. It's fine. It's
right.
Fine. Yeah.
Well, see, it's better you drink purple Kool-Aid than brown Kool-Aid. So
yeah, that's not Kool-Aid. That's
I'll say orange Kool-Aid. Orange Kool-Aid.
There you go.
What's that? The orange Kool-Aid? Yeah.
Orange soda, bro.
Orange soda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, all right, fellas. Yeah, good talking to you guys on the Pylon podcast. Everybody,
always.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll check you guys next time for our Super Bowl predictions.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, good stuff. You know what I might do with this? I actually might clip this up into some smaller things and put a couple on YouTube. Actually,
there were some good like little banter parts too. I felt like
good.
Yeah, I might clip them, maybe like 2 of them up and put them on YouTube or something like that, and then do our audio.
Maybe just like the part where I thought specifically the part where we picked the Bengals and Chiefs game. I thought that part was pretty good.
Yeah, there were some good parts in it. That was one of the better pods I think we've done. So yeah, I'll clip a couple little like minute and a half things. I'll put them on YouTube for us.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Last week I was kind of glad that we didn't do one because I knew that you guys were gonna give me some shit about my Vikings.
I wasn't prepared to. I wasn't going
to on you at all, bro. I promise I wouldn't have.
I appreciate that
for you. Yeah, because I would have been confident though too. Because I'm like, man, that's my team. Like, all that talk about it being a close game. We're supposed to be better. We're playing at home. I would have been the same way. Honestly.
Yeah. Honestly, what made me the most mad was I had a friend from college I haven't talked to in a while, and before the game even ends, he just texts me like, "R.I.P. smoking on that Vikings pack," and I'm like, I expected better. They
always come out the wood,
right? Like you don't even watch football,
right? It'll be somebody you haven't talked to in like a year, and they'll
just
text
you.
And they just turn
I'm
gonna
remember this.
Yeah, I'm glad you were thinking about me. I appreciate it. So glad you were thinking about me, man.
Yeah,
people are wild, man. But hey, at least you guys' teams made the playoffs.
True.
Yeah,
it's fun while it lasted.
Like we always say, next year, man. Maybe next year. That's what we say every year. Maybe next year. Next year's the year.
Yeah.
Talk ourselves into it. But
it's like Jerry.
Yeah, poor Jerry. Well, poor Jerry, man.